What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean?
All the deer, come on through. All the deer. All the deer at one time. Come on, all the deer. More deer!
Hello, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Tay, and today is a little different than usual because yesterday I saw the new Demon Slayer movie. So I know most of my content up until this point has been music, mostly Taylor Swift related, but my caption for my channel is music, movies, and me. The me can be whatever I want, but today it is a movie. So to my 5 subscribers, one of which is my sister, I'm sorry if this video isn't to your taste, but do not fret, because I have plenty more Taylor Swift content coming up soon, but today we must talk about Demon Slayer. This video has spoilers. You've probably already seen a few warnings already in the title, thumbnail, and intro, so if you're still here, I don't know what to tell you. Also, I haven't watched the anime for a while, so if I get, like, past details wrong, I apologize. Thankfully, I had avoided most spoilers for this movie. I don't read the manga. The only real spoiler I saw was that Zenitsu beats an upper rank by himself and comes out alive. Other than that, like, I really didn't know much going in. So, where do I even start? I think I'm going to try to go in order. So I guess let's start with the fight between Shinobu and Doma. That fight was beautiful. Like, visually, that was stunning. Especially, I am so glad we got to see Shinobu cook a little, because I feel like we haven't seen many of the Hashira fight, or at least, you know, go all out. So getting these back-to-back fights was delicious. I thought Shinobu was gonna have like a really long, drawn-out fight with him, or like maybe some backup would show up and eventually she would beat him, is what I thought was gonna happen, given the lore of him getting her sister. I don't know what I can say on YouTube, so I'm gonna choose my words carefully. You'll know what I mean though. But yeah, I thought this first battle was gonna be like at least mutual death between them. Like, I thought maybe they'd both get each other. I didn't think she was gonna go out that way. And the fact she was thinking about her sister's last words and thinking that her sister didn't believe she would be able to beat an upper rank, and she was kind of right. It's the way she kept doubting herself during the fight. Like, she was like, I'm physically not strong enough. I'm at a disadvantage. My sister didn't think I could do this. And then, like, she still gave it her all, and it wasn't enough. And she died alone. Let's talk about that, because she was by herself. Kanao was kind of there at the end, but barely. Like, there was no one to comfort her. And, like, here's the thing, when Doma caught her up on the ceiling, I thought she had another trick up her sleeve, like she was gonna, you know, stab him or something. I don't know. But then when that first crunch happened, I was just like, that dog with its eyes closed, that was my face for most of this movie, but definitely at that moment, because when I heard that first crunch, I was like, oh, it's over. No. And then Kanao showed up. I think I'm saying her name wrong. I'm sorry. Kanao. She shows up to see it happen. Like, it was evil. It was evil. And he's got to go. When he absorbed her, like, there was nothing left of her. He absorbed her body. That was really sick. Like, you're evil. I need to see him get annihilated expeditiously in the next movie. And that's how I felt about Akaza at the start of this film. And yet they really get me every single time. And, you know, call me Shane Dawson, the way I turn into an empath while watching Demon Slayer. The fact that the Demon Slayer Corps, they barely got a feel for their surroundings. They're thrown into, like, this alternate dimension, basically. They're all split up, and the first update they get from the Crows is that one of their strongest fighters has died. I think I would simply give up if I were any of them. I would simply lie down at that point. All right, the second fight was between Zenitsu and, I'm probably going to say his name wrong, I'm sorry, Kaigaku? None of those feel right. Okay, first of all, I don't think, I, like, searched around online. I was trying to figure out how much we knew about Zenitsu's lore, because this felt like so out of the blue for me. We knew about his mentor a little. The consensus online seems to be that for anime fans, like, we really didn't know about Zenitsu's lore, and that Kaigaku was one of the upper six and was his senior. I think this fight was kind of rushed. It was okay. It wasn't bad. It was beautiful, but it was very, very quick. And I get that they have to, like, be able to break the movie down into, like, the 20-minute episodes. And obviously, like, we're more interested in Akaza for this movie. I think the lore came out at a decent pace, because sometimes they, like, really drag out the lore. Sometimes it's too much, but the fight was so fast. It was really crazy. And I'm just used to the nonsense where, like, the Demon Slayers basically die, but then plot armor gifts them a new ability that allows them to miraculously recover and win the fight. And also, the upper rank demons don't usually go so easily. Like, they usually, do some BS regeneration. I thought Kaigaku was gonna, come back after that first beheading, and then it didn't happen. And I was like, oh, like, it's really over. Like, yay, because we needed it after Shinobu. I was like, we need a win right here. But it's kind of a shame, because I really like Zenitsu's fighting animation, so I'm hoping he gets to cook more in the next two movies. Alright, so the fight with Akaza, that was, like, the big one, and to speak my truth, I thought this one was gonna focus on Doma. Like, I thought the second movie was gonna be Akaza and, I'm gonna say his name wrong, Kokushibo, like, partially Kokushibo, and then the third would wrap up Kokushibo and Muzan. I'm saying his name wrong, I'm sorry. I thought because of what went down with Rengoku that Akaza's fight would be, like, saved for the second movie, but I guess we're going in order of increasing strength, which, makes sense. I don't know, should I start with the fight or the backstory? I think the fight, because I'm probably gonna start crying by the end of this video. I've only seen it once, so I might be wrong about this, but it seemed like when Akaza was fighting Tanjiro, he was, like, in blue lighting, and I think his attacks were blue to contrast with Tanjiro's flames. But when he fought with Gyu, his attacks turned red to contrast with Gyu's water technique. I don't know how consistent that was, but that's what I thought was happening. So, like, if that's the case, I appreciate you animators. And I was questioning Akaza's elemental fighting situation, because there is a moment when the Infinity Castle, like, turned into a giant fountain, seemingly for no reason. Like, that was just for fun. I'm gonna let him cook. And I was like, does he use water attacks? And so it's gonna be like a water versus water fight. But then he also had the snowflake under him, and so I was like, are he and Doma both ice-based power users? Like, I get now that it's not actual ice, it's like a compass, and it's an emblem of, his fiancée, Koyuki. Again, I'm probably saying their names wrong, I'm sorry. Her hairpin. I get that it's a symbol, right? But that did throw me off for a little. It doesn't really matter, but I'm just telling you my viewing experience. Now, the way the fight went down, I couldn't have asked for much more, honestly. Like, Gyu is really calm and collected most of the time, but he got really fired up. And Tanjiro, who, is usually a little bit more emotional, and should have been, given the context, the lore of what happened with Rengoku, he had to, like, be really calm in order to disappear. Now, I don't really understand the whole translucent realm thing, but I don't need to understand. I can just enjoy the beautiful animation. The callbacks to the Rengoku fight had me... I literally started crying. That was probably, the first moment I cried. I didn't cry for Shinobu, I'm sorry. Like, I felt really bad. It was really sad. But I didn't cry yet. When Gyu was about to get hit and Tanjiro saved him, like, he would have died the exact same way as Rengoku, with Akaza's arm, like, punched through him. So for Tanjiro to have stopped that felt like a full circle moment. And I'm so happy that they didn't, like, feel the need to say it out loud. Like, so many times in anime, if they do a callback or, like, showing a character's growth, they feel the need to force feed it to you and be like, oh my god, he just did this. So I appreciate that it was subtle. It's a moment that's made for the fans and not so much for the characters. And they did it again when Gyu threw his sword to stop Akaza from like reattaching his head, I almost jumped out of my seat. That video of the guy doing a backflip in the movie theater, that was me in that moment, because when Tanjiro did it, it was pointless. He lost his sword. It was like, now why did you, I get he was mad. Like, I get it, but, you know, he lost his sword. But when Gyu did it, he saved the day. And he didn't, actually. But for a moment, it seemed like he had, and so I really started crying a little when that happened. And then the nonsense starts back up, because of course Akaza doesn't die. When his head just closed up, I was like, I guess this is what we're doing. I get that there's an amount of irony with him, like once he lost his head is the moment he got his memories back. I can appreciate the irony there. See how I seamlessly segued into his backstory, and it's really not funny at the end of the day, is it? Because what do you mean he was supposed to get married? I'm like Jennifer Lawrence eating hot wings. What do you mean? Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? And he just wanted to help his sick dad and girlfriend. Like, it ain't fair. Like, when his girlfriend, Koyuki, when she was introduced, like, you knew exactly what was going to happen. Like, they're going to fall in love, and I thought she was going to succumb to her illness. But it was even worse somehow. It always is. I was really crying. The way he thought his life was over after his dad died, he was just like, you know, he was just full of anger and, you know, heartache and, like, wasn't sure what to do. And then he just finally started to imagine a future for himself. And if he had been there with them and, like, had also drank the poisoned water, that literally might have been better. Again, it gets worse somehow, because what do you mean he didn't join Muzan willingly? When that happened, I was curious to see, because he was, like, young, so I was like, how is he being Muzan, gonna manipulate him into joining him? It didn't go down that way. Like, he turned him into a demon, and then he lost his memories. And then, like, for him during the fight to have those memories flood back in, and then having to contend with what he did as a demon, like, it ain't right. He did do some awful things. But, like, it's not his fault. When they started to imply that he was gonna go to hell, I was really, like, losing my mind. I was, like, crashing out in the theater. Because his mentor, I think his name's Kaizo, he was like, heaven may not accept you, but we will. And I was like, no, let him in. Like, let him in. I don't even care. Like, he did a lot of bad things, but, like, there's room. Let him in. And then he was kneeling in front of Koyuki, and he was in his demon form, and she was, like, holding his head, and she was like, I still love you. Like, it's not right. It's not right. And the fact that his hair and clothes are pink, perhaps because Koyuki wore pink, like, it's actually so evil. I, like, wasn't expecting him to have this, like, tragic backstory / redemption arc, especially because he's the one who got Rengoku. Like, he was public enemy number 1. So what do you mean? What do you mean? I was fully ready to see him get the beatdown of his life, and now I'm his biggest defender. Like, it was the same for Gyutaro and Daki. Like, I was like, I need them to be annihilated. Especially because, wasn't Daki going after, like, at-risk women? See, that's not right. They've done a lot of bad things, but you see their backstory, and it's like, what am I supposed to do? And you know what doesn't sit right with me? If I remember correctly, Daki was maybe gonna go to heaven, but chose to stay with Gyutaro, and he, like, carried her on his back into, presumably, hell. That's how I remember that going. So why does Akaza get to go to heaven, but those two don't? I'm so glad Akaza made it in the end, but Gyutaro and Daki were, like, very young. I'm saying let them all in. All the deer can come into the nightclub. Like, they did some really horrific things, though. Like, what they experienced, they probably put so many hundreds of other people through. So, like, we have to think. We must be critical, but I'm just, what can I say? I'm an empath. Alright, is there anything else I want to mention? Rengoku's dad. I didn't realize that wasn't him at first. I was like, is Tengen hallucinating? Like, what the heck is going on? And then he spoke, and I was like, that is not Rengoku. And then I was like, oh, it's his dad. And then I was like, oh, it's his dad. The one who, forswore the Demon Slayer Corps bars, but is now back, presumably, for Rengoku. Like, I'm really not okay after this movie. I drove home from the theater and I listened to All Too Well, 10-minute version. If I see any edits of this movie to Taylor Swift songs, it's gonna be over for me. I've already seen some crazy edits. Yeah, I think that's pretty much everything. I guess to end off, I'll do, like, my predictions for the next movies. And first of all, I've seen people saying the next movie isn't happening for 2 years, and then the third one won't be for 4 years. I was expecting 3 movies in 3 years. 4 years is a really long time. And if each movie is about the length of 7 to 8 episodes, that's like 24 episodes total, which is a normal length for like one season of most other anime. So why? Maybe they really need all the time to animate it. Like, I don't know. But if this is really like a 4-year saga, I really don't like that. It's not like I can do anything about it, but like that's a really long time to wait. Okay, there's like 3 big enemies left and a lot of Demon Slayers. I'm curious if Tengen's gonna get a big fight in the next movies or not. I hope he doesn't die. Like, he's been through enough. He's got wives. He's got to get back to. Just leave him alone, okay? Let's see, it feels like there should be 5 fights, because we have 3 groups of Demon Slayers that are paired up, and then Genya and Saname will probably group up, and then there's Inosuke, Zenitsu, and Kano by themselves. I forgot about the one demon, the woman with the instrument. So I guess we have 4 villains. I'm confident Muichiro and Gyomei are gonna go after Muzan, and I'm worried for them. I feel like Gyomei's gonna die. I'm hoping Muichiro lives, because he's just so wholesome and sweet. Like, please, but I think Gyomei might be a little cooked. I think Tanjiro and Gyu are gonna recover and go up against Kokushibo, and I feel like Inosuke is gonna find that woman with the, I googled it, it's called a biwa, the instrument. Maybe Mitsuri and Obanai will join up with him, which would leave Genya and Saname to help Kano with Doma. But that doesn't feel right, because Genya and Saname have like their own stuff to work out, and Kane has her own grudge against Doma. So maybe Mitsuri and Obanai will help Kano, and then Inosuke, Genya, and Saname will group up. That would be an interesting trio. That would be quite chaotic. I'm really not sure. All I know is I hope Mitsuri gets her flowers, because I feel like Shinobu, like, we got to see her cook a little, but she was kind of done dirty. Like, I can't imagine Kano is gonna get like a moment to shine. Maybe she will, but like, I need the female representation, okay? All of the villains are like men, the big ones anyway. Like, we don't really know anything about the woman with the instrument. Like, she's kind of a side villain at the end of the day. Listen, I don't need a lot. I'm just asking for like a little moment to see some of the women cook. I could guess at who else dies, but I really don't want to. Like, can't they all live, all the deer? I'm saying it. Maybe they can just work things out with Muzan. Like, just sit down with him, talk. Maybe they can just work it out. All right, that was my Demon Slayer Infinity Castle review / experience. If you've seen it, let me know how you are feeling below, and please, no spoilers for the next movies to like the 5 people who are gonna see this, please. I would appreciate it so much. All right, thank you for watching, and goodbye.